So I played the Syphon Filter PS1 trilogy for the first time over the course of about 3 weeks or so. I haven't played any of the other Syphon Filter games, be it PSP or PlayStation 2. I think the Omega Strain was a PS2 title, and then you had the other ones, Logan, Shadow, Dark Mirror, that was PSP slash PlayStation 2. And those couple titles were originally made for the PSP, but I've never had a PSP. When that came out, I just really wasn't into handhelds. But I do see myself getting back into handhelds in terms of, hey, maybe a Switch one day, because the game really stepped up in terms of handheld. I was past that point at that time. I was just about consoles. But anyways, back to this. I think I played the Syphon Filter demo that came with a PlayStation magazine back in the day. Don't quote me on it. But I do have, I guess, parts of it when I played Syphon Filter 1 that felt like it was kind of a, hey, I remember this. Hey, it's kind of like a flashback, if you will. Now, maybe it could be because I've seen videos, a few reviews online in terms of YouTube, but I don't quite think that is. I'm pretty sure Syphon Filter was on a PlayStation magazine disc. Now, the question is, what was part of the demo? And I feel like the outside part at the beginning of Syphon Filter 1, going around DC, getting down to the metro, to the subway, was part of it. And I feel like the museum part was part of it, where I had to shoot the switch. And I think I struggled on that originally when I played this demo. And I'm not sure if I had to look it up on a computer or what have you, what to do back at that time. But yeah, I remember those couple of aspects of it. If I can get my hands on a demo copy, I think, man, it came with a PlayStation magazine, I can check that out, but it's really not worth it. Now, the order in which I played this was Syphon Filter 2, then Syphon Filter 1, then Syphon Filter 3. Let me tell you about Syphon Filter 3. My least favorite out of the trio. I didn't feel that the missions were that interesting. I felt like it was just a way to complete the trilogy on the PlayStation 1, if you will. You have past missions, because they're sitting here testifying before maybe a special counsel, a special person for Congress, and they have flashbacks, and a few missions are in the present time. But it just feels like a way just to, hey, you know what? Let me wrap up this PlayStation trilogy and be done with that. I don't feel like anything really, really memorable stands out. It's not bad, but it's really not worth it in my opinion. Just a way to, hey, I played the other two, let me play this one. I think the mini games are kind of cool when I played a few of them, where you can, test your Syphon Filter skills. So that's probably a saving point of having that Syphon Filter 3 in your collection. Otherwise, you just see what happens on an online video, be it YouTube. Now, I played Syphon Filter 2 first, and I had to get used to the frame rate because I haven't really played anything like this type of game in a while. I had to get used to the frame rate and the tank type of controls. But once I got used to it, it was smooth sailing from there. It's been a long time since I played games along those lines. In Syphon Filter 2, I felt it was really good type of game. I enjoyed the missions. I enjoyed the variety of the stealth, and sometimes having to be elusive when there's quite a bit of headshots that enemies would take. In Syphon Filter 2, they'll take a lot of them compared to the other two games, 1 and 3. Some people might not like it. I liked it. I liked the bomb detonation on the bridge. That was cool. I liked the boss battle at the end around that helicopter. I think that was kind of cool. How you had to go about that. I won't spoil it if you never played it. But I do like the trial and error nature of this game. I like how you can move between stealth and action, and some parts you really do have to be stealth-like. Good level designs. Club 32 somewhere in Russia. That was cool. That was a good look. I like that area of it, and all the way through, I enjoyed it. I even enjoyed the biometric labs and the prisons going through that and sneaking around. I just felt it had a good mix of things. It's a two-disc kind of game, Syphon Filter 2, so you do have more cut scenes, if you will. And I had an enjoyable time. Real good times for that. In terms of Syphon Filter 1, it was a good time. The part I didn't like was some parts they require a flashlight, and I'm glad I got rid of that in 2 and 3. But other than that, you did have some memorable parts. Subway, things going on, the last boss battle, that was cool. And everything else in terms of controls are consistent through 1 and 3. So, yeah, I mean, how do I feel about the series overall? Yeah, 1 and 2 are definitely on point. I feel 2 is better than 1, and it just has more memorable moments in terms of missions. What else can I say about 1? Wow. Overall solid game. As you got towards the end with the missile silos, that was cool. This other area where they had like I'm forgetting everything it was, but I think it was like the catacombs, and you're going through this building. I think it may have been a church or something along those lines, and there's scientists and things of that nature go around there. That was pretty good moment, and then you get to the missile silos later on. I enjoyed that. So, cause these games, yeah, they do have story tacked on, but these are the late '90s, still early 2000s type of things. It's mostly gonna be about gameplay first, and then get a little bit of story to be there, and you just hope it's good. Everything isn't gonna be Metal Gear Solid or a Half-Life that was at that time. Putting that kind of story in these kind of action games was different. Obviously, they had more story in RPG games that came in the past because that's based kind of like a role-playing game in the story. But in terms of these action-type games, it was really the Metal Gear Solid and the Half-Life, in my opinion, that pushed that action merged with story kind of thing and bring it together. And you could even say, you probably even want to throw Resident Evil into that, and Tomb Raider to some extent as it came to puzzles and things of that nature. Even though I only played the demo, I never really played that game, Tomb Raider. But I may play some of those games in the future, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about Syphon Filter. So yes, 1 and 2. I'll keep 3 anyway because of the mini game. It just concludes this trilogy. But 1 and 2 definitely must plays, and I feel 2 is the best. I think you'll get the most out of it, and maybe the longest game, but I just feel the variety of things that you do there, and that game is just superior. Fun missions. I was thoroughly entertained. So yeah, that's how I feel about this Syphon Filter series on the PS3. My first time officially playing it. I think I played the demo back in the day, but my first time playing these games. Iceberg Jim out. Deuces. And let me throw that in. I didn't use any type of strategy guide to complete these games. Just do some trial and error and go back and forth. And there's parts I spent a long time. Had to stop, take a break, come back to it. You could spend hours trying to figure out what to do in a certain part. Like, should I go here? Should I click that? Should I do this? Did I miss something? And that's part of the fun. And I know a lot of games nowadays can be a little handheld and say, hey, check this list, go over there. Things will be a little more obvious. But back in the day when it came to certain games, including Resident Evils, you go get a strategy guide. And if you had the internet, mid, late 90s, okay, you look up something there. But otherwise, a lot of hardcore people that say, hey, you know what? I'm not even going to get the strategy guide. You just trial and error your way through it. And I think these games, the maps aren't, the maps are a good size, but they're not extremely large. I think trial and error and overcoming certain things, that would be the best way to play these games. And as you play one and progress through the other games, you'll be like, okay, now I got a hang of it. I should be clicking around certain things, seeing this is a lever, seeing this is a switch, looking here, looking there, and you'll get used to it. So I started with 2, went through the other ones, and it was easy. It was good times. I think these are on PS4 and PS5 digital only. And I think it's picking up some traction. I think they got trophies and things of that nature to go along with it nowadays. I don't know. But I played it on a PS2, which is the same as a PS1, got the same chip in it. But I essentially played it the way it was intended. And when I had a PlayStation 1 during this time, I didn't have an analog controller. I used a D-pad. So that's how I played this, with a D-pad, with the tank controls. And I was cool with it, because that's how I was playing the original PlayStation anyway. I didn't start using the analog until essentially with a Dreamcast and then the Xbox, PS2, that kind of era. Anyways, same filter, good series, 1 and 2. 3 just kind of out there, filler minigame if you want to complete the story. But if you're going to play the same filter on a PlayStation 1 and 2, that's the way to go. Iceberg Gym out for real this time. Deuces.